Kitchen. Today's recipe is probably the most popular Peruvian dish. It's what probably brought Peruvian food into the mix here in the US, and that is Lomo Saltado. Although I do it a little bit differently. I do Lomo Saltado Mixto, which means Lomo, which is ribeye, and then I also use chicken. Okay. Now this one's going to be Lomo Saltado Mixto, and if you want montado, which means a fried egg on top of the rice. What do you need? You need about 2.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, about 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. That's for the sauce. Here's the soy sauce, which I already plugged in there. 3 to 4 tomatoes. Now I add this ají amarillo. Again, that's the key for me to any Peruvian dish. Red onion, cumin. Okay, you need that. You need fries. Now I could make the fries from scratch, but I don't have the energy. So, and that's gonna be for the actual dish. Okay, I would make rice from scratch, meaning, you know, a new batch of rice, but I made some yesterday, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that rice for this. Now, when you've gone to a Peruvian restaurant, you probably had the green Mayo sauce, which I'm gonna show you how to do. What do you need for that? You need lettuce, regular lettuce, dry, cilantro, which I'm gonna use cilantro for the sauce and also for the dish. Okay, jalapeno. I don't know if you can see it, and lemon juice. Of course, mayo. It is a mayo sauce. So those are the ingredients. Of course, you always need a little bit of oil to get the meat going, and I'm going to show you step by step. So hopefully you'll stay with us. And again, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do so. I'm making the sauce especially for one of my current students whose birthday is April 14th. So today, hopefully, we're going to release the video. We'll be releasing, again, other videos in the future. But again, you won't know unless you subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started with the meat. Okay, now what am I doing? I'm trying to pat dry the meat before I cut it. And I'll do the same with the chicken. Now how much meat? Depends how many people. I really like the onions, so I actually put more onions than sometimes meat. But in terms of how much meat, a pound should be more than enough. Obviously here I have a little bit more than a pound. So I'm only going to use about half of this, and then I'm going to add the chicken. Okay, so here we have the chicken. I try to go ahead and cut out most of the fat, and I'm not going to use, this is just chicken breast that I'm going to use. Just, you know, again, for the lomo saltado, you need just the small pieces, just to flavor a little. And the reason why I know in the video it shows me cutting or drying the steak first, but in reality you want to do the chicken first, because the chicken takes a little bit longer to cook. So you want to put that in there first before you do the meat. And again, for all of you who are chefs out there, please, you see me cutting this wrong, go ahead and comment. Okay, so I finished cutting the chicken into little strips, dry it, and before I continue, let me show you real quick. This is for the fries. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna bake the fries. Now you can follow the package's instructions. This is 420. Now don't get any ideas, meaning 420. degrees for about 35 minutes. It depends on where you are. Again, my oven seems to be a little bit slower than others, so it sometimes takes a little longer. But you know your oven, so I'm gonna put them in the oven, and 40 minutes I should be done with the lomo saltado, and so I can add the fries once these are done. Okay, so we're back. I'm gonna go ahead and a little bit of pepper, and again, that's just your own taste. You could use garlic salt. And these are now ready to be cooked. Okay, so now notice that I'm using a different cutting board. I want to leave the chicken there and wash the knife after cutting the chicken, just because again, after you handle chicken, you want to cut it. You want to wash whatever you use. These are going to be little strips, thin. Okay, so we got the meat. Now I can feel the heat from the oil, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Pat it, okay? Again, add a little bit of pepper. You don't have to. Sometimes you just want to wait and do it as it's sauteing. And I love using this. That way I don't have to touch the salt with my hands, especially if I'm dealing with, whether it's chicken, egg. Okay, so chicken's cooking. I do have it on high heat just because I don't want it on low heat, meaning I don't want it to get dry. The small pieces, and now I'm going to add the beef. And again, most Peruvian restaurants will offer you either a chicken, or actually lomo saltado, which is steak, ribeye. That's what lomo is. Some places will offer you a chicken, and actually they'll also offer you a seafood. But I like to use a little bit of both. So that's why I call it mixto. Okay, so while this is happening, I'm going to go ahead and cut the onion because that's going to be the next ingredient. As you can tell, the meat has released some of its juices, and that's what I'm going to use to add the flavor. Okay, I'll probably give it another maybe 5 minutes. And then I'm going to remove just the meat, add the onions, leaving all the fat, the juices, the oil in there, and that creates a little bit of the sauce. Of course, we're going to add red wine vinegar, cumin, soy sauce, the whole mixture to create the lomo saltado sauce. But this is the base for that. Okay, so here's the onion. Okay, like I told you before, I really like onions. You don't have to put so much. The red onions. So I'm going to saute the onions in the pan once I remove the meat and the chicken. Once the onions are translucent, they're soft, then I'm gonna go ahead and add the tomato, which I have here. Now in some recipes, some places, this is all you need. You quarter the tomatoes. The way I like them, I like to take this part out. Okay, and then just leave this, which is how I'm going to do it. The chicken and the beef are almost completely cooked. So now it's time for the onions. Perhaps a little bit more oil. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and continue removing the meat from the tomatoes. Okay, so now as the onions are cooking, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of ají. Not too much because it can get spicy. And time for the tomatoes. So the tomatoes, as you can tell, the meat has been removed. Now you can use a knife, you can use a spoon. You can add more if you like more tomatoes. So now, time for the sauce. So here I have 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. It's actually 2.5, and about 3.5 of red wine vinegar. I'm gonna mix it with some beef broth. Okay, there you go. Mix it in a little. Turn it down. And get the meat back in. And the chicken. Ooh, smells good already. Okay, so now to make Hector's green sauce. By the way, if I didn't say before, happy birthday, Hector. I think you're turning 13. So, you got the lettuce, about this much, lemon juice, 1 jalapeno. Now, I remove the stems. I have it here. I may add some of the seeds to make it spicy. If you don't like it spicy, you can remove everything. About a 1/4 cup, or 1/2 cup or so of mayo and cilantro chopped up. Put it in there in the food processor and then let it run, and then you should have your green sauce. Okay, so the potatoes, the french fries are done. Hopefully you have enough juice in there. Okay. So all you need to do now is cut some cilantro, which I've done. Serve it over rice. Now you can serve it on top of the rice, or you can serve it to the side. If you do to the side, then I suggest frying an egg, a little bit runny, and then putting the fried egg on top of the rice and let the yolk break. It's a great dish. Hopefully you'll try it at home and you let me know how you like it. I added the fries, I tossed them, and then I added a little bit of cilantro. And here's the sauce. Now I recommend the sauce, the green sauce, put it in the fridge for a couple of hours if you can. And then once it's cold, it's gonna get a little, it's gonna thicken, and then you can use it with your meal. Okay, so honestly, you should be making the sauce first, leave it there. Don't make too much because after a week, it's gonna go bad. The oil of the mayo drops and it's a mess. So you don't wanna, you wanna use just enough for a couple of days. Again, hopefully you like how your meal comes out. Enjoy it, it's a family meal. And if you like it, like my video. And again, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do so because we have a few other recipes coming up.
Je ne